Hey Google, connect to my Mac.
Got it. Looking for paired devices. Bluetooth is connected to.
Okay, great. Welcome to week 4. Welcome to week 4. Very pleased to see you all, and it's very good. Good progress too. I'm from in the back end. I see that some of you have made some really good progress. So CS2C, obviously, we got to stay on top of the ball. It's not like CS2B where you can beast code. Who was it? One of my past students said this, and I like it so much that I actually put it in the syllabus. You can beast mode code through this class. Because you can get by with beast mode coding in CS2B, I think. Yes, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, I mean, you can essentially, if you have the perseverance of like a high schooler, and they basically sit down over a week and not do anything at all, and then you can just get through CS2B like that, right? I mean, at least some of the quests in most of the quests in CS2B you can do that, right? Yes or no? Yeah, or at least you guys will say that because you've done it already. Well, that's the whole point, right? Once you do it, you'll know it's very easy to do. But even for professionals in the field, CS2C is not like that. Right? I mean, you can just pick some random guy who's been out of school for a long time, maybe working at Google or Microsoft for the last 4 or 5 years. So they have solid software experience also. And if you ask them to solve the red quests, even they would take a significant amount of time. So because a lot of these problems are not just regurgitating text material, in the process of solving them, you understand it. But when it comes to solving it again, you'll have to manufacture the solutions brand new, even though you already knew it one time. The only thing is you will have the confidence that you did actually solve it one time, but you've forgotten how to. So you'll actually go ahead and do it instead of looking at 1 million websites that tell you, I've never done it before. So how do I do it? Then we start our endless search, right? That's the first bad move. So anytime we get a problem, we say, I don't know how to do it. Let me go and find out how to do it by asking all these reputable people in the world outside, right? That starts our wild goose chase. And then I don't know when people come back from that, but eventually after testing out everything, you say, well, that works, maybe it doesn't work all the time. This works. All right. So you get to everything and find all the corner cases and say, okay, well, you know what, if it needs to be completely buttoned down, this is a way to do it. And maybe the way those guys are doing it suits their particular ends. Right. But for me, maybe I'm attacking the theoretical or the pure problem, or, a particular domain application, which has that. So eventually you say, after having looked at all of those things out there, you actually come back and say, I'm not going to use any of that out there. But you have, strangely enough, wow, when I just said that, I remembered an old philosophy professor of mine. His name is Graham Audie, right? And I think he moved, he was at Boulder, Colorado for a while. I don't know what he's doing now. But he started off, I was a student for many quarters. And the very first quarter I was a student, and the very first class, he actually started off by saying, why do people study philosophy, right? Why do we study all these different ways of doing things? Why do we look at, all these different approaches to finding the truth and eventually find out, none of them actually works. So I'm back here. Now I've got to think about the problem and find the solution myself, right? So he said that's how he started his lecture, believe it or not. I'm probably regurgitating his words because it's, it made such a lasting impression on me. And he said, what's the point in studying philosophy if all you're going to learn are things that are ultimately flawed? And so you're going to come back and say, well, I've looked at all of those methods and all of those explanations, and none of them seems to cut the mustard. So I'm here, back to myself, where I can use the only thing that I have, the only tool that I trust 100% is my own good sense, right? Because even if the Pope came to your door, knocked and said, this is the truth, you're not going to blindly accept that. You're going to say, well, how does it make sense, right? So ultimately, it's got to appeal to your sense, whether it's pragmatic sense or something that actually you believe deeply that is going to benefit you, and in the best possible way. So you're going to come back and say, why do we do that? And the analogy he drew was, was very compelling, and I liked it very much. And he said, a lot of people start off on around the world in 80 days journeys, right? So they want to go and visit all the different countries, but eventually they come back home, right? But back home does not mean that you don't know about all those other things. You ultimately come back. No, you actually know a whole lot more than you started with. And you will probably have a much better opportunity to discover real value in your own home that you did not discover before, because you were blinded by things that are of false value, right? Because culturally, what is a false value? Up and down all the time, and that will actually shield the real value. Sometimes not, right? So depending on where a civilization is in its trajectory, you can see, oh well, they've got a grasp of the truth, right? Now for the next several thousand years, maybe they're going to be blinded by other values, and they're not going to see it. Maybe it'll reappear, and things like that. So I don't know how we even started talking about that, but it's really funny that yeah, it was this thing that triggered a memory of Graham Audi. I used to have such great discussions with him. Anyway, so what are we going to talk about? Yeah, it's 2B and 2C. I know. The strange thing is there were a lot of students who didn't do 2A and 2B. Or at least haven't done it in a long, maybe they did some course a long time ago and they've forgotten, right? And they need to brush up again. And they got into 2C because of an ancient qualification that's basically slipped their memory because of so many circumstances. So they had the option to drop class, but they didn't. And they actually sent me an email saying they want to flow through it. And if necessary, they'll just take a withdrawal and then re-enroll the next time 2C is offered. So there must be something to it that seems cool. But I did want to get your feedback a little bit before we launch into the updates. 2C is designed to be harder than 2B, right? But not so much harder. It shouldn't be formidable. I know that a lot of you are making progress, but a lot of you are also stuck. And not a lot, right? Some people who basically marched right through CS2B, or at least made brisk progress, they're totally stuck and they haven't done the first quest. And so I was concerned to see if the jump from 2B to 2C in terms of skill level is too much, because that kind of feedback will also help the department in setting the standards we expect from students, and maybe tone things down so that A's are more likely across the board and things like that. So depending on your experience, because most of you were my students in 2B also, I think, right? Do you think the 2C level difficulty is too much or too little or just right?
I can add on that.
Hang on 1 sec. Why? Hey Google, connect to my Mac. Oh yeah, okay. No, it is connected. Hey Google. Oh my, Zoom. All right. Yes, it's strange, isn't it? So for Zoom, I have separate preferences. You can't do the Mac preferences. Touch built-in. No, not built-in. Okay, I got to select Google in Zoom. Why doesn't it just take the Mac preferences? Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. Okay, next, please do go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't personally find there is necessarily a big gap in difficulty in terms of what we're doing. I think the gap for me, which luckily I feel like I'm overcoming, was more the difference in how we tackle problems compared to 2B. The idea of planning it through, really learning the things more instead of just open up Xcode and start writing. So I think maybe it might be something along the lines of it's a whole new strategy, it's a whole new way of looking at things. So maybe that's what's bringing back. I don't necessarily think it's the difficulty of the problems, because I think we can all grasp them eventually.
Thank you for that. Anything else? And I'm glad this is all on it's being recorded. So after you finish quest 9, you can come back and listen to this, and also maybe make another recording at that time, saying how you feel about the 2C quests now. But technically speaking, after that maybe you start working or something like that. If you ask me, after having completed the 9th quest of 2C, you're actually ready to be interviewed by Facebook and Google. Okay, you're ready, because after that, just spend some time looking over some sample problems on LeetCode and things like that. you can pick up an interview if you could get a referral through someone who knows. You can just go and try it out. You know, you don't lose anything. You just go, because you'll easily pass the phone screen for sure, right? Because with the technical knowledge you've displayed so far, and then you go and check it out. So you meaning that you will be you'll be in a position to write a reflection after completing 2C of now all of the 2C quests. Maybe I can solve in a couple of weeks. Right? I don't think it can get better than a couple of weeks. Well, maybe it can really, because if you just completely regurgitating solutions. But if you're encountering each problem for the first time, I don't think it'll take less than a couple of weeks, because just understanding the spec sometimes takes a little bit of time. Even though it's a problem you already know, it's phrased in a way maybe that is new, and all of that takes a little bit of time. So I think 2 weeks is probably the bare minimum, and that's why all these people. Hey, Jason, where the hell is Jason? Right? Because I mean, all right, someone get this message back through to him. Okay, you see, he can't. 2C is not going to be like 2B, right? He can't just. And I'm pretty sure. I mean, if I read his intro, right, he's got so many units to do, and he's got some frogs to take care of, and things like that. Yeah, and 2B cannot be taken. 2C cannot be taken easily like 2B. Okay, so he's got to put in a lot more effort than I see him currently doing, right, in terms of questing and incrementally improving the solutions, which he did in 2B. So so I know he can do it, but people have got to reevaluate how many units they are enrolled in. I tell you, the real danger, especially for I think more among the younger crowd, not so much among the more senior students, but the younger the students are who get into my class, the more overloaded they tend to be in terms of the number of units they want to do. And as though, the younger you are, the sooner you think you're going to die, right? So I got to learn all this sooner. And paradoxically, it's exactly the opposite, right? The younger you are, the longer you're going to live, exponentially longer, because, by the time you're like 50, they're going to be like brain shattering advances in genetic engineering and all, right? So most likely you can basically choose whenever you want to die. And we're fed up with life, or say, well, it doesn't make a difference whether I'm alive or dead anymore. So I'm just going to take it like it is. So maybe you get an option to do that, and so all of that is really cool. And so if people are just rushing through as though this this candy and ice cream shop is just going to disappear, and what's the point? What's the point of tasting everything in the first day if you've got 999 days more when everything you got is already tasted already? So yeah, I think that's the. Maybe I make a point in like Robert Frost wrote a poem about a fork in the road. It just came to mind, but I mentioned that in one of the quest specs. Anyway, so that's enough of a spiel from me. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention this before. I don't know if any of you are planning to major in machine learning or data, natural language processing and things like that, because I am going to tomorrow. This is my sixth. This is tomorrow's Tuesday, right? It's going to be my 2, 4, 6, 7th lecture. 7th lecture to my CS2A students, and I am like almost 99% confident that one of them who has never coded in C++ before, at the end of class, would have implemented a finite state machine. It kind of plays out okay in my head. So, but the proof is in the pudding. We'll find out tomorrow at my 8 a.m. class. So if you do happen to want the link to join that class at 8 a.m. tomorrow, I think what we're going to do is implement a finite state machine that basically uses a grammar. A grammar represented as a finite state machine. In fact, it'll be even better, even more interesting than a finite state machine. It's going to be a stochastic finite state machine, or a probabilistic finite state machine. In other words, it has a number of transitions from each state, but they all have equal likelihood or different likelihoods, right? The only constraint is that the likelihoods have to sum to 1.0, right? So and so by jumping from state to state, it will generate a bunch of random sentences, the kind of sentences that you see in our quests, for example, right? So you have these lists and you have these quest sentences. I'm using a very, very simple grammar for the quest, but tomorrow I'm thinking we'll actually implement some interesting finite state automata, right? And I think this will actually be very useful, because I know my daughter, first year at UCSB, she was learning about finite state automata. And I was thinking, I didn't learn about finite state automata in my first year at college. So things must have changed. So they're probably teaching finite state automata in the first year of a 4-year class. Well, actually, first year of 4-year. Yeah, that must be, say, if the first year of a 4-year degree is the same as our first quarter, right? CS2A, isn't it? Our CS2A should be, so yeah, then it makes total sense. I should basically talk about finite state machines tomorrow. And and we're going to implement that in C++. So if you are welcome to attend, if you want a Zoom link, just, you may already have it, but if not, just let me know, I'll send you one. But it's from the CS2A course, I think, right? Or if you know someone, you can just get the link from them. It's for tomorrow's 8 a.m. class. So yeah, and if you're interested, please come along. And I think if anybody is interested in linguistics, at least I think one of you was in your intros. I think Jade posted in her intro that she was interested in the intersection of computer science and linguistics. So computational linguistics is a very rich and interesting field. And what we'll actually look at tomorrow is a generative grammar. Right? That's what it's called. It's a generative grammar because it's going to be a grammar, a rule-based grammar, which is going to spit out sentences by generating them, essentially, right? And each sentence will also have a likelihood of a generation. And so we'll calculate that and talk about that and how to find probabilities and how to structure your automata in such a way that forward dependencies can be resolved. But all of those things can be very interesting topics just for CS2A students. So I'm looking forward to that because I'll actually get a chance to implement this. Any of you are welcome to attend. All right, I think that's all I wanted to say. What time is it now? Yeah, it's about 15 minutes into class. So we can start the updates if you guys, unless you guys have any questions. I think most of you are working with sparse matrices right now. Yes? Yeah. I think in question number 3, there is a timing. Some kind of timing. I put this is I think question number 3, cormorant, and after cormorant, I had a couple more timing things. This is the first one, cormorant. Okay, so let's make it interesting. Okay, let me say that the person who gets the least time, right, reported by the question system for until, I don't know, we'll pick a date, right? We'll try to set a deadline. The best time anyone gets before then, they get 2 extra credit points or something like that for your quest, okay? Or maybe even 5 extra credit points for your quest. So the one person who gets the best time will get 5 extra credit points. And so it'll be worth striving for. And it's an interesting problem to face. So, and even those who are, still working through Blue, just keep going ahead, okay? So if not this quarter, it'll basically just set you up to do CS2C next quarter and just swim through it. It'll be pretty easy. All right. Thank you very much. I have on my screen. Do you guys have any questions, or can I just assign the linked list over? Yeah. Okay. Hey, Aman, you disappeared. Okay. So all right. So Walter, Tony. Hey, Tony, you didn't submit the first quest, by the way. I don't have any score for you.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on it.
Okay. All right. So make sure you finish it and let me know. Okay.
Sure.
All right. And, if you finish it sometime before this week, I'll pick up the score. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Cool. Riley and Sung, and followed by Dean. So that's the order I have. Yeah. Okay. Great. If you have any questions or places that you're stuck that you need concept help for, you can ask during your update too. Not just today, even going forward, and I'll be happy to answer those. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So I'm still on quest 2. Actually, I got a bit of a late start, but I'm finally COVID free, so I'm starting to make better progress, feeling a lot better. So this week, I'm looking to make a lot of progress on quest 2 and start quest 3 before the weekend. So I'm just sort of got my game plan for everything, and now I'm just sort of working on implementing it. So should be fun.
Fantastic.
So I've been working on the first quest and kind of stuck on one of the mini quests. So I hope I could finish by this week. I will try my best.
And after you finish it, immediately start on the sparse matrices.
Sure.
And so many people, right? So many people who can help. So please don't. Yeah, don't take a breather.
So is this same as last quarter? That's if we finish quest 9, we can come back and
Yeah, but don't count on it, because if you don't reach quest 4 before the midterm, there's absolutely no chance you can reach the complete quest 9. It's impossible. It's close to
All right.
impossible, right? So you got to stay on the ball, and the only way to get to quest 9 is every single week you got to knock out one quest.
Okay.
Thanks.
I see.
Yeah, is
Thanks.
that all? And by the way, all these other people who are not coming here, why are they not coming here and getting help? And it's because you guys are at least making progress, right? So you're moving forward. You're doing these quests. Many of these people are stuck, and I see them. They're stuck, and I'm thinking, why the hell aren't they asking for help? Right? They should be out there. If you're stuck, you should go out and ask for help, right? And the stupidest thing to do is to say, well, I've got this really valuable thing here that I can make use of, but I'll go and do something else that's of less value, right? So if you spend the hour, if it's like paying $5,000 for a $5 beer, right? Because that time when when you could have, when people were giving you something that was extremely valuable, right? Anyone who comes now gets 5 pounds of gold, right? And then if you sleep off that time, and and say, now I've got, so it doesn't, so that's like your parents have, and the taxpayers have paid so much money to get all these goodies in front of you, and this window of opportunity is not going to be always open. So they've everybody's put in so much effort to get you to the right place and say, all right, for 3 more years or 2 more years, that's all you got, your chance. You can suck up as much as you want, right? So then, naturally, if, all the intelligent people will say, this is the thing that I should be spending most of my time on, right? When I'm absolutely not able to do this, I want to go and do something else for just a break, right? But so just pass this message on to them. This is really not just this class, every class, but classes that require effort. This is your best chance to put in all that effort. And again, you are the guys. It's your responsibility to get this message to the students, other students who are not in class, because in my experience, students only listen to other students, okay? They don't listen to professors, or they don't listen to their parents, or well-wishers, okay? But if their students tell them something, they'll say, yes, let me give it a shot, okay? Even though it may be something silly, like, take this dagger and poke it into your heart, okay? So, please make sure that this message gets across loud and clear to all these other students. You are being offered an incredible opportunity within a limited window to grab as much as you can, okay? Don't spend this time, scattering into the wind and go chasing stupid things, right? Which are always going to be available in your life. So use the time when you can get the goal to get the goal. And I'm sorry, okay? Because I only see you guys and I'm talking to you, but I'm really not talking to you, because you guys are already making progress and you're up here. And there's all these other students in class who actually need the help, right? They need to be talking to you and me to say, how can I get there quickly, right? And they're not here. Well, what the hell are they doing? Right? And they got to respond to email, or they got to say, this is what I'm doing, please help me. But I don't see any of that from them. So you got to get this message across, because I keep saying the same thing, as you already know. As I say, use like my broken record, right? Hey, I have it on record and play it every time. And this is the exact same thing I'm always saying. So at some point, it's just going to fade into background noise. Okay, but you guys have got to take it upon yourselves to pull all the other classmates with you. Otherwise, it's not going to be fun. Okay, and later on, you're going to start companies. You're going to do great things, and the more people you have that have worked with you and their skills, the better the product you'll build. Okay, because great things, even if they're great minds, 5 great minds can build 2 to the 5, right? So you get more people of the same skills together, and you can get together and have an idea, and you can basically tell, okay, well, I'd like to do this, and you'll say, oh, that's exactly what we were hoping you'd do, and things like that. And great products will come out of that. All right, so please pass that message on. So yeah, I don't even know if we should have these updates, right? Because it's the same bunch of people always, who are guaranteed most of the time to be close to what that week's supposed to be, right? And most of the time you don't have any problems, and you're talking, and the guys who are supposed to be here, and I don't even know if they're watching the videos, and because they're not asking questions in the forums. Okay, so we have to tighten up the standards. Okay, and I think this is a thing that I keep harping on with the university, not the university, the college too, because success rates are down with increasing standards, obviously, and then the college also wants to keep the success rate up. So so a lot of instructors who are teaching behind closed doors, I have no idea what they're teaching, right? The only time we find out is, when those students, we inherit those students, right? They've done someone else's 2B and come to my class, right? But they've been teaching 2B inside closed doors. Who knows, right? Because, if you go to a Foothill Reddit, you see students complaining that saying this is a hard class. Why am I spending a whole week or a whole class sitting down and writing a lecture on equity and racial issues in this hard science class? Because those are things I could learn from my parents and people around me. So I shouldn't be, that time should be spent learning the third derivative or something like that. Because that's the place where I need help. And the problem is, when say you do this and you get credit and things like that, the people who inherit you, those students, will have a harder time because they got to bring them up, and unfortunately they fail, and the averages of the success rates of the entire department because of so we've got to put some measures in place, I think, right? I think every instructor, at least in computer science or hard sciences, should basically teach in public, right? I think that way, at least, there'll be more accountability, and we'll know, right? Anyway, what's the point? There's no, you think, right? I'm doing it. It's free, right? It's not like it's going to cost me an extra buck to put all our lectures online, right? It's just talking, and it's online. And I'm pretty sure that if some random people, come across the videos and watch it, they'll probably learn a thing or two, right? Well, not if they directly jump into the 2C videos, but I'm pretty sure if they start with a 2A video, right? And then they actually code with the student, right? We do that. I don't know. Did any of you be my 2A student? Nobody, right? You just did the blue quests. Yeah. So in 2A, we basically just sit down, and maybe if you're going to come to tomorrow's class, you'll see, right? This is a student, and I'm basically talking, and they're coding, and we code up complex problems on screen, right? And so easy because someone comes across the video, they can watch it, and maybe they'll learn something from it, right? Because we talk about essential concepts in CS2C and CS2A, so we can actually learn CS through that. So I think that math, physics, chemistry, astronomy, all of these should just be online and free. People should just feel free and bold and courageous enough to say, well, this is what I know, and I'm willing to show people what I know, and because I'm going to teach in public, right? And I think that will make a huge difference to the quality of students also. Everybody will be like you guys and saying, well, it's not enough to just get the paper at the end. I need to learn. And therefore, I'll go to the hard class. I won't go to the easy class, which is basically just going to have me write some equity issues essays and give me an A in a hard science class, right? So that kind of thing should not happen. So, it's up to you guys to basically see, by making all the right recommendations to the college or a dean or vice presidents or whatever it is, and say, this is how we need to get the name of the college and the quality of the education at the forefront, right? This is because education is the mission of the college. That everything else is also a mission, but they are secondary missions. The primary mission is always education, because this is a place where people who know come to say, I know, I need to share. Right? It's like Facebook for educators. So I have something that's valuable, I want to share. Why, instead of going to Facebook to share my, whether I ate a peanut or not, I could come to Foothill and share whether, you can sort a tree or not. So, so for educators, as colleges are Facebook for educators. And so when people come here, they come with a view to learn. And I think that should be our central mission. All right, thank you. Listen, I was thinking about this because I really got annoyed, not annoyed in a bad way, but I'm looking at you guys and saying, well, what the hell am I doing? I'm wasting time today because I could be out there. I'm wasting time to preaching the choir because I know what Riley's going to say. He's Antung, right? You're going to say, yeah, I did this, okay, yeah, I know you did this because I'm following it, right? So so the thing is, the people who haven't done all these things, they should be here and saying, well, I'm doing this and I'm struggling and you guys have done it. Can you give me pointers, right? And then you can have a rich discussion at the end, right? Here, what's the point? You just go around and say, done. Okay, and that's the end of the meeting. Okay, so there's not even scope for interesting discussion here. Okay, so please try and get other people to come and attend the class, okay, from next week onwards. Otherwise, it's really boring. These videos will be boring too, right? It's the same bunch of us talking again and again. Yeah, so I really hope you can get this across. I make a posting, but I don't know if people are reading my announcements. Okay, so yeah, get this message across. Thank you, Riley. I didn't mean to monopolize your time, but I kind of know what you're going to say, right? So I'm following, your code and what you're, sending to the system. So yeah, please do. For the benefit of the other people. Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so I finished all the I got all the bugs out of my code on Quest 3. So I got everything working except for the large sparse matrix multiplication. I haven't gotten it fast enough. So that's what I'm gonna be working on this week, just making it fast enough to pass the quest.
Oh, so you got the password for the next one. Yeah,
I know
you
I
got the
didn't.
code.
I didn't get the password, but I know everything works because I got the small sparse matrix multiplication works. I just have to find a better
Oh,
algorithm.
I see. So you haven't got the password because yeah,
No, no
it
password.
has to work. It has to work for the medium to get
It
the
has to be
password.
fast enough. Mhm.
Oh, so I'm still working toward.
Oh,
Work-
you froze. So
Working through Quest 2. I
your internet is like cutting out like crazy for me.
made some submissions because I thought it was finished, and then I realized it's working now. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, it does that sometimes. I'm sorry, but yeah. So I'm still working towards Quest 2, and I made some submissions because I thought I was I was close to finish, but I realized like there are a lot of problems with my code, so I need to fix those problems. Uh, and yeah, that's what I'll be working.
Cool. Yeah, you're in a good place. I see. And Riley's also in a good place because now he's just got to look for how to get it to go faster. And it's not really efficiency. It's basically getting rid of the inefficiency. So I think that is probably enough of a clue. It's not getting more efficient, but there's an inefficiency. Exactly one. In fact, there's one inefficiency in which you calculate the dot product, and when you find it, you'll be as fast as the reference code, if not faster. Yeah, so you're also in a good place. So you've got an interesting problem to chew on. So hopefully you'll fix that and get moving to the next one. Dean, you can take over. Hey, your camera's off, by the way. Gene, are you here? Okay, looks like Dean's not here. Maybe he sent something in chat. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm at work, so I can't talk. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yes. And oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. No worries. You got but you got the headphones. I hope so you can listen to us. So obviously you're listening to us, but it's not too distracting. Okay, great. And Aman had a question. Do I email you for the link? Yeah, totally. Email me, and in fact, ask on the Reddit. I'll say, this is the link, and you're welcome to attend. Right? Anybody who has a Canvas login can attend. It doesn't even have to be, my students. I believe all you need to be able to do is log into Foothill Canvas. Even if you're doing some course in ceramics, if you log into my portal and go into Canvas, and you use the link, it actually works because it only checks for my portal SSO, a Foothill SSO. So it's kind of cool. So yeah, especially people in linguistics. If you have any friends in linguistics, tell them, right? We're going to do a linguistic problem in computer science. Why don't you just attend if you have, a Foothill ID? And then they'd be able to say, hey, that's really interesting. I didn't know that we could do this and using computers. So there's an opportunity for us to attract people from outside, areas who could be really great application specialists of computer science knowledge in their domain. Right, because computational linguistics is a huge field. So some of you will love it because even in AI systems, when you parse pages, when you web pages to find out what the meaning is, today you can actually ask Google a question for which it can't just find the answer. It's got to distill into the page and extract knowledge nuggets to find these answers, and it still does that, right? And all of that exploits natural language processing, probabilistic natural language processing hugely. So this will all be very valuable to you. Yeah, totally. And I can, guide you on a project after to see over summer if you want that involves these things. All right. Well, thank you all so much for attending and updating what you're doing, mainly for the benefit of your classmates, because I know where you guys are. I know because I told you, I can follow every single move. So I know, yeah, so I know, but for your classmates, this is a great opportunity. They should at least watch this video to know where you guys are so they can ask you questions. when they're stuck. So thanks, and let them know that participation points are also, you know, evaporating. So if they're not participating, they're not even getting the participation points. So why screw up the GPA like that if they're interested in GPA kind of things? Okay. All right. Excellent. Is that all? You guys want to talk on your own? I'm happy to turn the laptop on as usual. Otherwise, we'll just call it a day and say that's the end of the meeting.
Personally, I think I'm going to go straight to coding.
All right. No
just-
worries. And no questions. Everybody good? Everybody good? Okay. All right. No problem then. All right. If any of you are able to make it tomorrow at my 8 a.m., I'll just see you. And you can also see some of the 2A students coding. And they're actually a very nice and energetic bunch, just like you. So you'll actually like that. And hopefully some of them will go on to do 2B and 2C also. So that's fantastic. And we can introduce you also. Hey, they are 2C students who've been through the blue and green classes. So maybe fun. All right. Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Feel free to ask
See you guys
anytime. Okay.
next week.
Yeah. If you're stuck, you should feel free to ask. Make sure you ask. Thanks.
Sure.
Bye.